The most unsettling man in the room is not the loudest. It is the one no one can read. Picture a tense meeting. Voices rise. Eyes dart. Everyone is signaling emotion, positioning, defending. One man sits still, calm, listening. He speaks last, if at all. Nothing leaks. No anger. No reassurance. The room shifts around him. Pulses quicken. Control slips. People begin guessing, projecting, filling the silence with their own fear. That reaction is not accidental. Men fear what they cannot predict, because prediction is control. When they cannot read you, they cannot manage you. Your stillness becomes pressure. Your restraint becomes authority. Here is the warning few accept. This power isolates before it elevates. You will be misunderstood before you are respected. You will be tested before you are deferred to. If you need to be liked, this skill will cost you comfort. If you want leverage, accept cost. People do not seek truth in others. They seek predictability. Predictability creates safety, and safety creates dominance. When a man can anticipate your reactions, he feels above you, not beside you. This is why humans instinctively scan faces, tones, and timing. They are not empathizing. They are mapping control. Emotional transparency accelerates this process. When you reveal frustration early, excitement openly, or doubt casually, you hand others a clock. They learn when to push, when to wait, when to provoke, and when to flatter. Timing is power. The man who controls timing controls outcomes, and readable men surrender that control without realizing it. This is why readability becomes weakness in competitive environments. A predictable man is easy to manage. His reactions can be engineered. His moods can be triggered. His boundaries can be tested gradually. Once mapped, he is no longer negotiated with. He is handled. And what can be handled can also be replaced. Uncertainty disrupts this entire hierarchy. When reactions are delayed, emotions muted, and intentions unclear, control collapses. People hesitate. They second-guess. They overthink. The burden of interpretation shifts from you to them. That shift alone reorders power. This is the internal realization most men miss. Strength is not expressed. It is withheld. The moment you stop feeding others emotional data, you stop being an object of management. You become a variable, and variables cannot be dominated easily. However, this is not about becoming cold or performative. Artificial silence is transparent. True unreadability comes from inner regulation, not strategy. When your nervous system is calm, your signals naturally quiet. When signals quiet, others lose leverage. This is why unreadable men are not feared for what they do, but for what cannot be anticipated. And once predictability disappears, respect replaces familiarity, setting the stage for the framework follows. Openness feels virtuous, but in power dynamics, it carries a hidden tax. Every detail you share gives someone authority over you. They don't need rank to influence you. Information does the work for them. Expressive men lose negotiation power before negotiations even begin. When your emotions are visible, your limits are visible. Others know how far to push, when you will concede, when you crave approval. You become easy to steer because your internal state is always on display. Familiarity accelerates this decay. The more predictable you are, the less mystique remains. Respect fades when nothing is withheld. Mystery creates gravity. Transparency dissolves it. This is why composed men are treated differently without demanding it. The contrast is sharp. Expressive men react and explain. Composed men pause and choose. One leaks leverage. The other accumulates it quietly. Once you recognize this cost, restraint stops feeling unnatural and starts feeling necessary. Once you understand the cost of being readable, the next step is discipline. Unreadability is not an attitude. It is a structure. Machiavelli understood that power belongs to the man who controls perception, not the man who floods it. These laws are not tactics for performance. They are rules for orientation. The first is the law of delayed response. Speed is not strength. Reacting immediately feels decisive, but it exposes emotional timing. When you pause, you remove predictability. Others reveal impatience, anxiety, or overreach while waiting. Delay forces them to negotiate with uncertainty instead of with you. The second is the law of emotional neutrality. Emotion is information. The less you display, the less leverage others possess. Neutrality does not mean indifference. It means regulation. Your inner state remains steady even when pressure rises. Calm men do not need to prove control. They embody it. The third is the law of selective disclosure. You do not hide everything. You choose carefully what is revealed and to whom. Oversharing is weakness. Strategic disclosure builds trust without surrendering leverage. What people do not know about you cannot be used against you. The fourth is the law of strategic ambiguity. You do not clarify every intention or position. Ambiguity creates hesitation. Hesitation creates space. When others cannot place you, they slow down. They test less. They respect boundaries they cannot read clearly. The fifth is the law of non-reaction. Provocation exists to extract data. When you do not react, the provocation collapses. Silence denies validation. Stillness denies escalation. The man who cannot be pulled emotionally cannot be controlled tactically. Together, these laws separate players from pieces. Pieces are moved because they are readable. Players move because they choose. Pieces react to pressure. Players let pressure expose others. This framework does not make you invisible. It makes you difficult to manipulate. Unreadability is not about dominance displays or intimidation. It is about refusing to give free access to your internal world. When your signal's quiet, others grow louder. When they grow louder, you gain information. And information, quietly gathered, is the foundation of real power. This is where most men misunderstand the goal. They attempt to imitate silence without inner control, creating tension instead of authority. True unreadability feels effortless because it is grounded. You are not suppressing emotion. You are mastering it. Each interaction becomes lighter because you are not leaking yourself into it. Over time, these laws compound. People stop testing you casually. Conversations become measured. Disrespect declines without confrontation. You gain room to think while others rush to fill gaps. That asymmetry is decisive. The shift is subtle but permanent. You stop performing reactions and start observing behavior. You stop offering clarity prematurely and allow time to work on your behalf. In that space, intent reveals itself. This is why unreadability terrifies insecure men. It denies them anchors. They cannot locate you, predict you, or manage you. And when management fails, hierarchy reorders quietly, without announcement or conflict. Over time consistently. In the workplace, confrontation rarely announces itself as aggression. It arrives disguised as professionalism. A colleague challenges your decision in a meeting, smiling, framing it as collaboration. Readable, you feels the spike immediately. You explain your reasoning. You clarify intentions. You defend tone. Each sentence reveals priority, insecurity, timing. By the end, the room knows exactly where you bend. The challenge worked. Unreadable, you notices the move, but does not rush. You pause. You let the question sit. You answer briefly, without emotion, without excess detail. You redirect to outcomes instead of justification. The challenger grows uncomfortable. He expected data. He received composure. The power line here is simple. Silence denies leverage. Now shift to a social setting. A friend makes a subtle joke at your expense in front of others. Readable, you laughs along, then overcorrects. You add context. You explain yourself afterward. You try to reframe the narrative quietly. The group senses the adjustment. Status slips without a word being spoken. Unreadable, you registers the test and does nothing. No laughter. No visible irritation. You hold eye contact for a second longer than normal, then change the subject. The joke dies on contact. The room recalibrates. You did not win an argument. You prevented one from forming. This is the core contrast. Readable men attempt to manage perception directly. They react to tension as if resolution is urgent. Unreadable men manage structure. They allow moments to breathe. They let discomfort educate the room. Another scenario. You are questioned about your plans. Readable, you reveals timelines, motives, doubts. You feel honest. You feel open. Unreadable, you gives partial answers. Enough to be polite. never enough to be mapped. Ambiguity protects momentum. Power lines emerge naturally when this shift installs. I don't explain myself under pressure. I don't rush clarity for comfort. I let time do the sorting. What changes first is not others. It is you. Your nervous system slows. The urge to fill silence disappears. You stop rehearsing responses. You start listening for intent. Conversations feel lighter because you are no longer carrying them. Over time, patterns emerge. Certain people push harder. Others back off. The ones who rely on reactions lose interest. The ones who respect boundaries adjust behavior. You did not confront anyone. You simply stopped feeding them. Readable men spend energy explaining. Unreadable men spend energy observing. One leaks power. The other compounds it. And once this contrast becomes embodied, not performed, you stop reacting and start shaping the environment. Quietly, consistently, without announcement, pressure, or permission from anyone involved. Watching intent surface naturally over repeated interactions and silent tests everywhere daily, now permanently. Unreadability is not universal. It is situational power. Used in the right environments, it elevates you instantly. Used blindly, it isolates you. This approach works best in competitive, hierarchical spaces. Workplaces, social ladders, status-driven groups, environments where incentives are misaligned and people are rewarded for leverage, not loyalty. In these arenas, emotional restraint signals competence. Delayed responses signal authority. Ambiguity creates respect. Here, being unreadable protects you from manipulation and positions you above reactive dynamics. Where this strategy fails is in high-trust, intimate settings. Long-term friendships, family bonds, relationships built on mutual vulnerability. Applying constant opacity in these spaces feels artificial and cold. It erodes warmth. People don't feel safe around someone who never opens. Power misapplied becomes distance. This is where many men make the mistake. After learning unreadability, they perform it. They go silent deliberately. They withhold unnaturally. That kind of silence is loud. It feels calculated. Others sense tension instead of authority. Performative silence invites suspicion, not respect. The calibration is internal. You don't imitate behaviors. You regulate yourself. Observation replaces performance. You adjust your visibility based on incentives, not ideology. Where there is competition, you reveal less. Where there is trust, you reveal selectively. Unreadability is not hiding. It is not secrecy. It is proportional disclosure aligned with context. The man who understands this never feels fake. He feels grounded. The real discipline is knowing when to speak, not forcing yourself to stay silent. When silence is natural, it carries weight. When it is forced, it collapses. This distinction separates mature power from ego defense. One is fluid. The other is brittle. When you learn to read the environment before deciding how readable to be, control stops being effort. It becomes instinct. And once instinct takes over, unreadability stops being a tactic. It becomes presence. From there, identity follows. At a certain point, techniques fall away and something deeper takes over. The shift from expressive to grounded is not about suppression. It is about stability. You stop broadcasting internal weather and start standing on solid ground. Your presence becomes less reactive, less noisy, more contained. People feel it immediately, even if they can't explain why. This is where the contrast between respect and likability becomes unavoidable. Likability is earned through reassurance and emotional availability. Respect is earned through self-command. Expressive men are easy to relate to, but rarely deferred to. Grounded men are not always understood, but they are taken seriously. One seeks harmony, the other sets tone. Silence becomes authority here, not as a tactic, but as a signal. When you speak less, words carry weight. When you do not rush to explain, others assume there is more beneath the surface. Assumptions fill the gaps, and most of them work in your favor. Silence invites projection. Projection creates distance. Distance creates hierarchy. Your inner circle tightens naturally. You are no longer accessible to everyone, and that is intentional. Few people earn proximity. Fewer keep it. Alignment replaces history. Behavior replaces promises. You stop chasing connection and start curating it. The internal shift is calm. Your nervous system is no longer hijacked by reactions. You are present without urgency, grounded without rigidity. You don't need to dominate conversations or disappear from them. You choose. This is sovereign presence. Not intimidating, not cold, controlled. Others slow down around you. Tests reduce. Respect stabilizes. You are not playing a role. You are operating from a center that does not move easily. From here, power is no longer something you apply. It is something others respond to. And once this identity installs, action becomes, boundaries hold, and the final step becomes unavoidable. For 7 days, you will not try to impress, correct, or manage perception. You will change inputs and observe outputs. First, reduce emotional signaling. Keep expressions neutral. No visible frustration, no excessive enthusiasm. You are not hiding emotion. You are regulating it. People read less because you offer less. Second, delay responses. Do not reply instantly unless required. Time removes predictability. Others begin revealing urgency, insecurity, or entitlement while waiting. Third, speak last. In conversations, let others talk themselves into clarity. When you finally speak, keep it brief. Fewer words. No qualifiers. No over-explaining. Fourth, audit reactions. Watch who grows uncomfortable, who pushes for reassurance, who withdraws when access slows. Behavior is data. Words are noise. The rule is absolute. No explanations. No displays. You do not announce the shift. You do not justify it. You simply operate differently. By day 7, something changes. You feel calmer. Conversations feel lighter. Some people adjust upward. Others fall away. That separation is not loss. It is information. Do not rush to act on it. Let patterns finish forming. The real power of unreadability is not exposure. It is clarity earned without confrontation, effort, or emotional cost. This clarity becomes your permanent advantage. Power is not proven by how much you reveal. It is proven by how much you can hold. Visibility feels brave, but restraint is what protects leverage. When you stop explaining yourself, stop reacting on cue, stop offering emotional access for free, something shifts. You are no longer managed. You are respected at a distance. Here is the final warning. What you make visible can be used against you. What you keep contained remains yours. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is control. This is the contract. You choose regulation over reaction, timing over impulse, observation over display. You accept that some people will misunderstand you before they respect you, and you let that cost pass. From this moment, you move slower, speak less, and leak nothing unnecessary. You don't perform mystery. You live it. And as predictability disappears, so does manipulation. Stay with this path. Let presence replace performance permanently.